Hey, my fallen ones, and welcome back to another Shen Pe Uts Taa-Neter production. I am your hostess and storyteller, Shen Pe. Now, today I would like to speak about the myth of the patriarch and the divine masculine, being that we're coming out of the fifth sun of light, which was the 26,000 year sun cycle of the divine masculine. And before I get started, I would like to make the following disclaimer. You have the right to remain vacuous. Everything you do not know can and will be used against you, most likely for profit. I am a storyteller, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. So, first, I just want to start briefly with the patriarch, because I have to do a whole nother video on that. But just briefly, for the purposes in reference to this video on a divine masculine. The patriarch is a myth. There's like really no such thing as a patriarch. It's always been the matriarch. It's always been about the mother. The patriarch came about by the way of a certain sisterhood that brought, they use their energy to help men who are physically stronger, of course, to bring down the matriarch. And that's a whole nother story, but the patriarch is a myth, and the patriarch is a myth. It's always been the matriarch. It's always been Ma'at, the matriarch. And that's a whole nother video. So I really want to discuss the divine masculine, because we're in an age right now that reverts back, the sun reverts back to the divine feminine, which we're in right now. But I just want to make it clear that the divine masculine was the divine masculine is an energy that is supposed to, or its duty, its job, its position, its function is to protect the divine feminine. Not rape her, not admonish her, not yell at her, not abuse her, but to protect her. And in the beginning, that's what it was. The divine masculine protected the divine feminine. And somewhere along the line, the power of the divine feminine was not only usurped, but it was also like desecrated, like totally desecrated and disrespected, dismantled, but for the most part desecrated. Like, you know, like they took down the mother matriarch and literally pissed on her grave. And all of the daughters of her are suffering now as a result of that, what was done by the patriarch feminists, okay? And what's gonna have to happen is that the divine masculine that energy is going to have to be like regenerated, refurbished, recycled to get back to its original point and function. And that's what these energies dictate now. So a part of usurping the divine feminine, I just want to tell like a short story. It's not even a story because I'm not going to get into detail, but in one of the many battles between Set and Heru, or Set, she assisted her son on his behalf and in his favor. And I believe she used magic. And this made Heru very angry. He then slayed his own mother. And if I'm not mistaken, this version of the story states that he chopped off her head. But there was implications to that. When he cut his mother's head off, killing her, he cut himself off from his one and only source of power, who is the mama. And then there's another story from Sumer that goes way back even further than the story of Heru. And it's the one of Marduk murdering Tiamat. And here's a picture right here. This is engraved in stone. So now that you're familiar with this story of Marduk murdering Tiamat and Heru murdering Set, then you should be able to understand that Marduk killing the mother and Heru killing the mother symbolizes the male cutting off the source of his true power. And this is why, shit is so fucked up now. You kill the mother, you are as good as dead. Just like everyone walking around is today. And on that note, until you do right by her, everything you even think about is going to fail. See, these are the energies that are emanating while we're in this dark rift. It's like I said in my last video, death and destruction, then rebirth and replenish, regenerate. But first, certain things just have to go. There is no such thing as a patriarch. Women are spiritual creatures, the guardians or the gatekeepers of heaven, the spirit realm, the ether realm. Men were created to be physical creatures and are not by nature spiritual, unless he purposely incarnate here that way. And those are rare instances and another topic altogether. Hence the reason behind the ancients initiating the men into spirituality, the temples, all over the world. Men were created to assist the women, to be the landlords of daughter earth by enforcing the laws of Ma'at, which is the prefix of the word matriarch. Okay? But like I was saying, they were here to assist the women landlords of daughter Earth, by enforcing the laws of Ma'at, which was written by women. An example of this would be Thoth, who was Ma'at's enforcer. Men were created to be the protectors of their communities so that women would not have to do it anymore, and can now concern themselves with educating the children in the arts and sciences. Men were created to be the provider of their families so that the women would not have to do it anymore, and can now concern themselves with taking care of the community, and analogous to a woman running her household. Men still have to become one with her in order to actualize their spirituality. He must go through the woman in order to have true and divine union with, quote unquote, God. It is the women whom is supposed to provide men with this spirituality. And unchecked, the masculine will cause the very destruction that we are witnessing to this day. Women are the gatekeepers of the heavens and are the tools of spirituality. And spirituality is the man's protection and key to life. The matriarch represents life. The unchecked masculine, referred to commonly as the patriarch, is symbolic of death. That's not a divine masculine trait, okay? It is not a divine masculine trait. And the only thing you have to do is die, is just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, actually, most of you are already dead. Spiritual death happens first, like I said before. One being put in the ground is the second death. And one must realize that death is making its rounds around the globe. Know that when you lose your spiritual protection, that is the woman, and you do not support life, the matriarch and the mother God, that is, life will not support you. And it makes no difference how young or old you are either. So first one must make a choice. Then one must make a commitment to supporting life if one wants life to support them. And life is not going to support you as long as you continue to practice the laws of death. The end. And I will be back again with more on the myth of the patriarchy and the sisterhood. Okay? And in the meantime, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Later.